we move on to discuss Real Madrid. They have suffered a second consecutive defeat at the Bernabeu as they lose to AC Milan. Um, Frustrating loss for Real Madrid. Uh, Last two games have overall been really, really frustrating. They suffered that 3-1 loss to AC Milan. They lost 4-0 to Real Madrid. And you go back to the third game before that, Borussia Dortmund really got dominated in that first half and was losing 2-0. Now Real Madrid went on to score a ridiculous 5 goals in that second half and turned that first half thumping into a second half embarrassment going the other way. But maybe there was a little bit of signs that we should have taken from that game and some of their early season struggle, that this Real Madrid team is not as good as they are last season, not yet at least. And in these last two games, that theory has been proven almost, to say, it was a really bad loss that they suffered to Barcelona. Really shocking the way they got dumped at home, and now in the Champions League, in the league that they're fortress in, they lost to AC Milan 3-1, and they deservedly lost to AC Milan. I thought AC Milan looked more energetic, looked more lively, had more cohesion, had better cutting edge, looked more like a team, defended better. And it was shocking to see. AC Milan has not had that great of a season this season, I have to say. You look at Serie A, they're currently sitting 7th in Serie A. They've dropped points in, 5 out of their first 10. Not 5 out of 5 out of their first 10. They've been pretty poor so far in Serie A. They have moments where Paulo Fonseca has been under pressure as well. So, and I've watched them play now quite a few times this season. I watched them play against Inter Milan. I watched them play against Liverpool. I watched them play against Lazio. I watched them play against Napoli, and now in this game against Real Madrid. I have to say, this game they have been the most impressive one, which is a little damning if you're a Real Madrid fan. I think this is the game that they put out their overall best performance so far, and maybe this is a turning point for them this season to really get it turned around, to get themselves back into the top 4 and potentially go on a run in the Champions League, because before this game they were sitting on 3 points of their first 3 games. They were in a little bit of a vulnerable position. I believe they lost the first 2 Champions League games. But now they're sitting in 6 points after 4, which is not great, but it puts them in the midst of a position to play a knockout stage game in January to get into the round of 16. They're level on points with actually Real Madrid, who are also sitting with 6 points from their first 4 games. With this loss and then the loss that they suffered to Lille, which is, look, obviously the context of this loss, it's a bad loss if you're a Real Madrid fan, because you're having to take you're having to have basically almost a perfect last 4 games to put yourself in a position where you get a home. Where you get a automatic qualification into the round of 16. If you're a team like Real Madrid, if you're a team like Manchester City, if you're one of these, great teams in Europe, a Liverpool, a really great team in Europe, you want to put yourself in a position where you don't have to play any unnecessary games in January, that you can go automatically into the round of 16. And to do that, you have to be in the top 8. Right now, Real Madrid are sitting 18th. So the ramifications of this loss is huge in that manner. If you're a Real Madrid team, you do not want to play unnecessary games. You're a team that is competing in La Liga, competing in Champions League. You're a high level of a team, and you shouldn't be playing unnecessary games if not necessary. That's not what Real Madrid. And it's weird because this is a new format and we don't really know what to expect. But you know, it'll be a very big disappointment if Real Madrid have to play 2 unnecessary games in January. In that, look, as far as their performance against AC Milan as a unit, there should be some concerns if it are Carlo Ancelotti, as he said himself. Should be some concerns. Didn't have one goal outside of that penalty. Didn't score a single goal outside of the penalty. Didn't create much from open play. Looked pretty easy to play against in the defense. I thought the way that they were cut apart on that Reinders third goal says a lot. Says a lot on the current stage of this Real Madrid team. They're too easy to play against. It's too easy to play through their midfield, which is confusing because you have Tchouaméni in there. At that point where the penalty happened, you had Camavinga in as well. There is some and Valverde. There is some athleticism in that midfield, but for some reason they're just easy to carve up. They're easy to control in there, and it for me, I was very alarmed by that. I was very alarmed by how they have no balance in the attack as well. Mbappe, Vinicius, they don't look. There's no cohesion with that front two. You're thinking that it can be fluid and they can interchange and all that, but there is no fluidity now. I think Carlo Ancelotti decided Rodrigo is better off the bench now, and he wants to go with Vinicius and Mbappe up top and allow them to be fluid, but it's just not working. They're not picking up spaces that can put. Kylian Mbappe is hardly even getting involved. In the certain moments he is getting involved, he's not being clinical when the opportunities come, and he's not being assertive enough. And again, the fact that he's not even getting involved is concerning and should be alarming. I'm asking Mbappe, what is to blame now? What do you have to blame now? There's been a lot of stops, not a lot of stops, but there's been other moments in his career that he's been able to have excuses over, or he's been able to finger point and deflect. But now Mbappe is coming into a team that is proven they are Champions League worthy without you. So you have to go and make it work. They don't need you. They're not gonna throw everything bedside for you. And Mbappe so far has been failing the test at Real Madrid. He's been having a poor season. And if you look at the statistics, I believe he has 6 goals in La Liga so far. No, not 6 goals so far in La Liga this season in 10 games, which is not a horrible stat line. 7 goal and assist contributions, or 9 goal and assist contributions. And wait, did I do the math right? 7, 8, 9, 10 goal and assists of contributions in 15 games, which is not the worst statistics. But if you look at the performances, especially in the games that he's struggling in, especially against the top level opposition, he's struggling to even get involved. And it's starting to, I've always thought he was, but it's starting to make other people also question, is Mbappe the problem? Is Mbappe an issue? Is Mbappe overrated? Can he be blamed for Real Madrid's early season's woes? I think he's answering, or the performances of Real Madrid and him all as a whole, everything together, is pretty much answering that question.